the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Wednesday morning. We are glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. I'm Brett Pritchard. That's Randy Lee here with you this morning on a Wednesday, and going to dive right into it. Again, like I said yesterday, it's never dull covering Auburn. That's one thing. It's not cookie cutter. You don't just roll into work and go, okay, we got a 9-1 team and we're trying to get ready and we're going to go cover practice. And really all that we're worried about seeing who's injured and all. No, it ain't like that around here. That don't happen. And even the off weeks are interesting, which Auburn does have an off week this week. And, Coach Durkin made an appearance Monday in Birmingham. And I thought we talked about that yesterday. But all sights set on who's going to be the new permanent leader of this program. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Auburn's win over Wofford last night, 93-62. Faith and I were at the game, kind of gave our take on that a little bit last night, and we'll dive back into it. There's some issues with that Auburn basketball team, but there's some really, really bright spots as well. Some really exciting spots. Thought this team, once again, offensively shows something that we haven't seen in Auburn basketball in the last few years. Auburn's been great, obviously, went to the Final Four last year, but Auburn scoring points at a rate that we haven't seen maybe in forever. I mean, the way Auburn's opened up this start of this season, scoring 95 three times, 93 again last night, and could have scored way more, but we'll dive into that too. But we'll get your comments as well. And Randy, good to see you this morning. Coaching search, top of the priority here.
Well, glad to be seen. And, I've been on the road all weekend, but the beauty of being on the road, the 2 days that I was traveling back and forth, Brett, was listening to Auburn broadcast. I was able to listen to the entire broadcast on the football game heading down on Saturday, and then the entire basketball game last night. Let me give a quick take on the basketball, just in case we don't get back to it. I know we're gonna get to it 100%.
Okay,
but just to add a little bit of color to what you brought up a few minutes ago, this is the first time since '87 that Auburn started a season with 90-plus points in 3 consecutive games to start the season. You and I remember that '87 team really, really well. That was a Chris Morris and a very talented basketball team in that mid-'80s stretch for Auburn that could get up and down the court and play above the rim is really as good as any team back in that era. So great team offensively, Brett. And just one more quick take last night. Elijah Freeman goes off, gets his first start and scores 21 points last night. Overton, it was good to see him come out in the second half and knock down 3 threes. I think if Overton and Tahad can start shooting it the way that we know that they can, it's going to help this team. Tahad not shooting it to the level that
find it.
Not shooting it to the level. The beauty of Tahad, though, right now, and I hate to say this, but I know he's got to feel the pressure too, is Magwood's right behind him, and that cat can shoot it. And
I know he can. I told y'all that out of pro day.
And if that guy gets more minutes, he's
a better shooter, in my opinion.
He's going to put more points on the board. So at least we've got options, is my point there. But the main point I was wanting to make is the length on the wings for Auburn. We went long last night. We're not as big and powerful as we were last year in the 5 spot down in the post. But man, when we go 6'8" across the wings, and Keyshawn Hall's one of those.
Yeah,
that's a difficult ask for any team to match up there. So I know that we don't have that enforcer really, like Cardwell, but man, there's some fun pieces to this team. So I just wanted to really quickly jump in there, and I know that we can hit on it at the end. But here's the thing about the game Saturday. My takeaway, at least it was enjoyable. Like, there was no part of me that had a Brett Pritchard and myself 24 2015 moment. No, this would have been
No,
well before that.
no,
We're talking about Tony
20,
Franklin. So
2011.
yeah, no, I think this is
Well, it was
more of a
2011, and no, 100%
no.
2011,
I'm
2012.
thinking back to
Oh,
Tony Franklin and
yeah.
Tommy Tuberville, which was one of the worst ones that I can remember. Was that
About the dead
2008?
offensive year? Yeah.
Oh gosh, when we went into that high school offense with Tony Franklin, and you and I walked out of the stadium at about halftime with Auburn, Tennessee, and we
They've been
somehow won the
05.
game.
May have been 05.
No, '05 was a good team, Brett. I mean, we were decent in '05. This would have been the end of
The
the
year of the
Tommy
tennis,
Tuberville era.
the year of the, well, that would have been 08.
2008. Yeah,
Yep.
and it was awful. That was the year that Franklin, a few games into the season, picked all of his stuff up out of the office, and the media was out there waiting on him to exit stage left after one more terrible outing. That was not the case on Saturday. What an offensive performance. And I know that some of us thought we had that much potential on offense, but to
It's a
feel Derek,
shame.
but
It's a
to
shame.
see Derek Nix put together a game plan that put these playmakers in positions to make big plays. You and I are personally invested in seeing Malcolm Simmons do well because we've been calling him since he was a kid, and we're going to cheer the same for Sedarian next year. I know that we won't cheer for him when he plays Auburn, but we still want to see him do well when we see him grow up. And man, he put Malcolm in positions that we haven't seen all season. He had one drop, but you take that drop away, he's got 80 or 90 yards in receptions and has a big day. And he was what, 3 or 4 down the list for what we saw of the receivers. But man, he had them off balance all day. Ashton Daniels looked like somebody we want to keep around Auburn a little longer, and maybe that's a topic to discuss. But it had I know people make the example of it had a Lane Kiffin feel to it. Like when I thought he was going to pass it, he ran it. When I thought he was going to run it, he passed it. He went to different outlets that I wasn't expecting. When I thought that he wasn't going to go to Cam, he did. He found a way to keep going back to him, and just a beautiful thing. I'll stay with the positive there, Brett. Man, the offense was out of this world, and really makes you question what in the hell Hugh Freeze was doing the entire time.
We
when
talked.
you see a performance like that.
We talked all day yesterday about exactly what you said. So, I'm not going to go back down that path, but you're going to look back, and that's what the title of the podcast was yesterday. The whole thing was about being a wasted season. And it sucks, man, because this is a very talented team that had a very manageable schedule, and you're staring at a losing season, and you shouldn't be, man. It was criminal Hugh Freeze not only should be embarrassed, he took the place of Brian Harsin, in my opinion, of being the worst coach at Auburn.
I agree.
He recruited and got the roster to where it was. But I gave the analogy yesterday of shipping a car in a box out here and sitting it down in my driveway and having a company bring it and say, everything in there is top-notch parts. You got the premium parts, the best money can buy, everything's there. But you got to put it together. And if I were to have to put that car together, it'd still be in the box. So apparently he didn't know how to do it, and it had passed him by, and it was atrocious just to see what a waste of talent we've had. And now you've got to be in the mode of seeing if you can keep these guys. And that's where the coaching search comes. And looking at DJ Durkin in place, to go along with what you said on last week, this is an audition. And y'all feel like, if he lost that game, he's probably out. And, if he comes back and beats Alabama, then, maybe you're back in the mix. But there's a boatload of people that that want DJ Durkin as the head coach. And I understand that. I get it. I like Coach Durkin. I see him every day. Every time I'm there, I see him at practice. A nice guy. Loved his passion after the game in the press conference. He's very genuine. He's very upfront and honest. That was not an act. He's very passionate. I know he's seen what these kids have gone through. And he, like I say all the time about the fans, He knows they deserve better than what they're getting because this team hasn't quit. They're still fighting. They're playing hard, man. They get after it, and it's like Ashton Daniels said to us in the press conference room after the game. He said, we just don't. Just for some reason, things don't go our way. And then Faith and I broke it down yesterday. You still had 12 penalties in the game. There's still things that Auburn doesn't do to help itself. And so, yeah, when you add all that up, you clean those up, you clean a few things up here. Yeah, maybe you do have a chance to win the game. But you're right, it was much better. But now you gotta take a realistic step back and start looking at who's the next person on that's going to lead this program. Is it DJ Durkin? Should you question the step back the defense took with him taking over as head coach? Yeah, you should. I mean, because it took a massive step back Saturday with him being pulled away and having to deal with head coaching duties. Now, Derek Nix did a phenomenal job. I agree with you. I mean, to put together what they put together in a week based off what we've all known has been sitting there again adds fuel to the fire of how ridiculous the offensive output's been up to this point. But just finishing what I was going to say about the defense, if he becomes a head coach, he ain't going to be the defense coordinator anymore. So you're going to have to find that out. So do you feel like DJ Durkin has been there, the 16, 17 games he's put a defensive product on the field, it's been pretty dang good, except for Saturday. Do you feel confident that he can be the guy to lead this program into the future?
Well, I do. I mean, but it doesn't matter what I think. I will stand on my point this past week that he needed to win this game on Saturday, and he had every opportunity to do that if we can stop Vandy and Diego Pavia. Right. That guy put his name right there at the top of the list for a Heisman, hopefully.
He should, and he should.
I agree with you, and maybe he does.
Especially if they go 10-2, Randy. If they finish the season 10-2, man, I'm just saying the numbers he puts up.
I'm with you. We couldn't stop him, and we couldn't stop him doing really anything. I mean, just downhill running. When he needed to go get 6-7 yards, he was able to do it. He's just a special player and a special competitor. Very impressed there. But, back real quick to your Derek Nix comment. I think I told you a few weeks ago, I mean, it's crazy how much of a company man you have to be when your leader is not doing things exceptionally well, but you're staying positive. And he was. And Brett, you watch on Saturday. I mean, you can't be around Lane Kiffin and that type of offensive output that guy's put out there the last few years and it not roll off on you. And you can't have that many head coaches wanting you to be their offensive coordinator for it to just be you're someone out there just random. And Derek Nix is not random, man. That guy can flat up coach it and scheme it up, and he's been around great offensive minds. I like the way he carries. It's even more, my point is it's even more impressive how positive he's been this year when he has to be watching on the back end. And he wasn't making any of those calls, Brett. That guy was not making a single call.
That's the first time he's probably ever called a football game.
Really. Like for under this Hugh Freeze regime for sure. And what a job he did. But on the defensive side, Brett, here's the problem with Auburn this year. It can be smoke and mirrors because let's say it. You and I broadcasted a lot of games together over the years. When you're playing a team that's not good on the offensive side, here's what Brett Pritchard's going to say. Whatever you do, don't turn it over. Whatever you do, don't put them in positive territory where they've got a short field to go score. Punt the football back to them and make them go down there, and they're going to screw it up on the offensive side. I mean, I've done too many of them with you to know that that's where your head would go. That's the problem with Auburn. If you watch a Hugh Freeze-led team, you're going, whatever we do offensively, let's don't do too much because we really don't have to do too much. The only thing we can do is what's almost happened to Auburn a couple of times this year. Defensive turnovers, putting Auburn in position where they actually can cash a couple of scores in. Oklahoma was that way. Elijah Melendez's recent interception was that way, Brett. And if you take those two plays away, hell, Auburn doesn't even come close to scoring in the second half of those two games from an offensive standpoint. So you can't put yourself in a – and so I worry that the defensive stats look way better than they actually are on the defensive side based off of how bad our offense has been throughout the year. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point. I think I do think from a standpoint of preparing and getting ready every week, that you don't dummy down, you know, your plan because a team is terrible on one side of the ball. But when you get into a game, now you can adjust and go, okay,
Yes.
hey, and so I do think there's some relevance to your point. I do. So with that being said, now you flip the page. The next two games, obviously Mercer and Alabama, you do give those two teams something to look at. Now, again, Vanderbilt, in defense of Vanderbilt, that was a completely different offensive team. They had not prepared for that. I mean, because none of the film that they had on Auburn even remotely resembled what they were having to defend. They struggled with it. I mean, again, like you said, they're off balance. I thought the tempo was great. Jason and I talked about that this week, that Auburn was so much better when they were tempo, and you don't give defenses time to adjust and substitute. And that's the whole reason that back when Gus Malzahn was doing it so well, we were so successful, because all you can do as a defense is line up. You're not trying to you're just basically lining up and just hoping that you don't miss an assignment. And then when we slowed it back down Saturdays, when we had the false starts and when we had the things that threw us off whack a little bit. And so you get those kind of situations. I asked Coach Durkin in the postgame about the third down conversions in the second half in regard to the ones in the first half. Auburn was 4 or 5, moved the ball great. Should have been up 24-10, but another devastating holding call by Preston Howard cost us 4 points. I mean, there's no other way around it. So you look at it from that standpoint, and you gotta look at the whole picture and say, what can we do to get the defense playing elite and to get the offense playing elite at the same time? Because, again, we finally start scoring points. Again, Vanderbilt had a hard time stopping it because they hadn't seen it and whatever. But then the defense gives up a boatload. And like you said, I mean, I was on the field. I mean, it's like you had many times to get off the field, and I never had any faith that on third down that we could get off the field. And so going back to my point on DJ Durkin saying about the third downs, he said a lot of that's predicated on what you do on first down. And that's the truth. And we had some of those false starts, and you back to 1st and 15. And so now the change, you're not ahead of the chain. So little things like that you got to get cleaned up. Some comments over here. Obviously, Tubbs wants Lane Kiffin. I think a lot of people love Lane Kiffin. I don't think he's going to come to Auburn. I don't. That'd be a hell of a combination with Lane Kiffin and DJ Durkin. Tubbs said, listen to Durkin interview yesterday. He's bowed out as the head coach job, stated he wanted to be in Auburn. I do feel like, and he made mention of that in the post-game press conference, not that verbatim. He said, look, we're growing something here. I'm here for the long haul. You know, and that's what we all talked about in the post-game show Saturday night. What does that mean? I'm here for the long haul. Long haul meaning that regardless if I get the head coaching job, I'm here. I'm the guy if the new head coach wants me to be here, or, you know, I'm here for the long haul and that I want to be the leader. I think it could be either one. I do. And so I think DJ Durkin really wants to be at Auburn. If he doesn't get the job, you know, I know a lot of people were skeptical about a guy putting his name in the hat and then not getting the job, how you are able to handle that with somebody coming in to be your boss now. So I think DJ Durkin's of a mindset of, hey, he loves what he does on the defensive side. I think he puts an elite product out there. And I definitely think whoever the next guy is, if it's not DJ Durkin's going to give him a hard look to stay at Auburn as the defensive coordinator.
Well, you know, the things that we don't think about, you know, when you separate yourself from what goes on with you and myself and others with a coach, is that he's got a family too. And DJ Durkin has embraced the Auburn community. You know, I see him quite often. And I think the Auburn community's embraced him, Brett, and embraced his family. And that makes the decision. You go back to Lane Kiffin's decision. After a while, man, you keep bouncing around all over the place and you've got kids in school age. I mean, a few more $1 million may sound great, but the kids' comfortability in the community that they're in may oversee where your decision goes there. And I see
Right.
that with him, man. I've been telling you for a long time. I mean, the people that I talk to around the Auburn community love DJ Durkin. They love his kids. The school systems that they're in, they seem to be thriving in. I watch them. You and I cover the HSA, and I think they're going to be coming up and go through the community there in Auburn. I know one of them's at Lee Scott, and he's a tremendous basketball player. He's a great athlete all the way around. I mean, those things weigh into your decision, Brett, and I'm sure that that's in the back of his head that, yes, I'd love to be the head coach, and I think he might, but depending on who the one is chosen, he may be the correct choice.
Hey,
Now, there may be, I listened to Mike G's interview with Cohen, and there may be 2 or 3 out there that, and one of them may be the one that you like so much, Brett. I'll put it that way. But there may be 2 or 3 that we're not thinking of that have reached out to Auburn and say, look, I want that job. I know it's a special job. And it may shock us. And he made mention, and he kind of pushed me to think that, yes, some of those are out there. But if it ends up being Rhett Lashley, I'm not knocking Rhett Lashley, but if it ends up being Kenny Dillingham, Rhett Lashley, Sumrall, one of these guys rather than DJ Durkin, I mean, okay. Like, if you want to spin it and make me buy into that, I guess I can. But that's not a wow choice to me, is it to you, Brett? I mean, I'm not knocking those guys. I'm just saying that it feels
I
a
will
lot
say
like
this
the
about
direction we've been.
I will give credit where credit's due. And again, they haven't done it at Auburn. But Kenny Dillingham, everywhere he's been, his offensive output's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And in his
Freeze's
scheme.
was too. Brian Harson's was too.
Well, he freeze let it get away from him.
Yeah.
Okay. He brought an antiquated offense back to the SEC. It's very apparent. You can't argue with that.
Well,
I
bought what
I'm
you
just
said
saying,
earlier.
I get what you're saying. It didn't work. So he went to Oregon with Bo Nix. It worked pretty dang good. He just took a team to the playoff. I'm not advocating for anybody, so don't take it that way. I'm giving facts. Kenny Dillingham took an Arizona State team to the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
Can you argue with that?
No, I'm not arguing with it.
Rhett Lashley took a team to the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Auburn ain't sniffed the playoff. So I'm not saying they're splash hires, but I think they're good candidates. I don't know what they do at Auburn. Hey, we have a propensity to make a guy go from the top of the mountain down to the gutter. I'm just saying that. I get it. John Sumrall, I mean, he's coached at Tulane. He's got the fire and all that. I get it, but DJ Durkin hadn't been a head coach in a long time. That's the only thing. I think he does a great job where he is. And can he take this job over? Yeah, he can. And do the players love him? Yeah, go look at Twitter. Xavier Atkins. I mean, all those guys. And I think Xavier Atkins may be the best linebacker in the country. I mean, he's playing like it. LSU's pissed. They let him get away. They're like, we let this stud get away. I mean, you look at the numbers he's putting up. So, but you asked me a question, so I'm giving an answer. You got Rhett Lashley, who I think is a realistic option for Auburn, and Kenny Dillingham, who's a realistic option for Auburn. Could it be one of those two? Ed just said, question to Cohen is, Auburn prepared to break the bank, spend $12 to $14 million and go get a splash hire. Look, I talked to Mike G last night. He sat right down from me, and we got on the elevator and talked about it and everything like that. According to him, he said Auburn, their money's no option. I mean, that's basically what he's saying.
Well,
what does
Cohen
that mean?
Pretty much said that. Cohen said that to him. I mean,
but what does that mean? So what does that mean?
Well, it depends on who the hire is. I mean, if you don't have to break the bank, then you don't. Like but if there is a hire out there, and I'm just throwing this one out, and I'm not saying that he's even contacted or anything's in the works for that, but let's just say John Gruden. Yep. And it takes a big number to get him. Are you willing to spend that kind of money? Maybe. I don't.
And I love John Gruden, but there's questions around him too, man.
There's going to be questions around all, and that's the reason that DJ Durkin at least giving us an option. Like, look, we could have gone out there and Diego Pavia could have still scored 40 points on us on Saturday, and we could have kept doing what we're doing on the offensive side and lost 40 to 14, and it would have been easy. They'd have been like, that ain't working. I mean, whatever we do, just make me live through the next couple of ball games and get me out of that regime. But he didn't make it easy. He and Derek Nix showed that they could put a competent offense out there and put the right pieces in place and show off the skill of the guys that they've been really keying going and getting to now. Hugh Freeze is part of that, but those two guys we just talked about are two of the
they're just as they're. Hey, look, the good with the bad. Hey,
oh yeah,
the good that they bring. They're also part of the bad culture that Hugh Freeze they're all in it together. Sure. That's one thing. That you got two sides of fans for Auburn. You got clean house fans, get everybody out of the building, want to start over from scratch, or you got the ones that, hey, look, we got some good pieces. We need to try to keep as much of this. And that's the other thing. We got to get to some partners because we got to get off a little bit earlier this morning. But the roster is such an intriguing part for a coach to come to Auburn right now because it is a loaded roster. People know that. People know that. And so that is very attractive for a coach to say, look, yeah, I'll come coach Cam Coleman. Yeah, I'll come coach Perry Thompson. Yeah, I'll come coach Jeremiah Cobb. I'll come coach Xavier Atkins. Yeah, I'll be part of this because that is a sleeping giant down there. And I believe it. Really, I do. I mean, it's sickening how underachieving our offense has been this year. All right, Sensagreen. For air that's cool and clean, call them Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts here in the state of Alabama. They are proud supporters of Auburn Athletics and the Auburn Blitz podcast. Make sure you check them out. They save people thousands of dollars on new installs, and they'll save you money on your power bill with a new energy-efficient carrier unit. So if you're looking for a new unit, you need to check out Sensagreen. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama, serving the Southeast, working with municipalities, educational institutions. I personally know these guys. They are the best in the business. They handle these projects from start to finish, and they go through everything with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that the product that the contractor said they're going to deliver is delivered the way they said they were going to do it. So they hold people accountable. That's why you pay them. You don't have time to do it, and that's why you need them to come and lead your project. Call them Scout Program Management. Check them out online. Bunkers in downtown Auburn. The food's great, the bar's great, the atmosphere's great. Man, but the parking, dude, you ain't got to worry about it. 50 parking spots downtown in the parking deck. You never have to worry about fighting people. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, where it is. Bunkers is right there for you. You got great, great atmosphere with the live music now. Great place to sit. Plenty of area to drink there if you love the bar areas, and they still got the golf simulator. So check out Bunkers in downtown Auburn. And then the golf, if you're looking for a golf cart, and it is coming up on Christmas time, the Cart Source right there on Highway 280, just as you go into Davil. They are Alabama's premier golf cart superstore, and I've been on the lot, and I can tell you they are. I don't know if anybody's got more golf carts than them. If you can't find one on their lot, you are one of the pickiest people on the planet. But if you can't find one somehow, they'll order you one, and they'll custom get it made however you want it. Easy Go, Cushman, Yamaha, Club Car. I mean, there it is. And they got all types of deals going on. The prices are unbelievable. Check out Alabama's premier golf cart superstore, the Cart Source. All right. Moving into the final part of this real quick. Basketball last night, I thought, again, Elijah Freeman and Keyshawn Hall led Auburn in points. I think Auburn ended up, with about 8 minutes to go, Auburn had 9 guys that had scored. And then, of course, you empty the bench and there's some other guys get in the mix and score points. But, Stephen Pearl said that this basketball team's got to go 10, 11 deep. Obviously, Murph did not play again last night. So there's another guy that would have definitely scored. And I think you're going to have to rely on, realistically 8 to 9 guys are going to have to give you points every night. And, of course, Hall's going to get his, is going to get to the free throw line. I do love Elijah Freeman. I like Bashir. I think Bashir gives you an option. I told all of y'all about Caden Magwood in the pro day. I kind of gave y'all a full breakdown. The guy can just shoot the lights out of it. And I love that because Tahad, you got to have another option there. You can't just go out there for 40 minutes, man, and drag your tongue. So, the concern is, got to get the offense going a little bit for Tahad. I think, one of the things that we discussed last night is that when you become the man, there's pressure that comes with that. And, he was a huge part of the process last year, and we saw his shot kind of tail off at the end of last year. But, he kind of had the freedom to kind of play a little bit freer last year. Now, he's the man this year. I mean, he's the returner on this team. He's the unsung leader of this team. And so there's a lot of responsibility on him. And I'm not saying that he can't handle it, because I think he's still all the other elements are fine. But his stat line, if you look at it each and every night, when you look down, he's 4 of 15, 4 of 17, 4 of 13. That's got to turn around if Auburn, when they get to the games like this Houston game coming up on Sunday and some of these other teams they got to play before they get to SEC play, he can't go 4 of 15.
Well, the thing you got to watch for is he passing up open shots? I mean, is he mentally giving up open looks because he doesn't think when he releases the basketball that it's going in? And I don't see that yet, Brett. It's going to turn. And I think it was the Houston game last year that he kept us in it. If he didn't go for mid-20s, he was close to it. And he had a stretch there, and he had multiple games last year where we were in big-time matchups, and he got going, and he got going early, and he kept us in the basketball game. It's going to come. If you listen last night, a lot of his shots, and you were there, Brett, looked dead on. They made mention it was good looks. It was open looks. It was schemed up looks on inbounds plays that he got open shots, and he just didn't knock them down. So my point is he was closer to 20 last night than 0. And you got to look at it. He ends up with 9. He and Magwood both end up with 9. But my point is you add those 10 or 12 points on 3 or 4 made shots from Tahad, and you're well over 100 points. And that has been the feel all season. So I'm not in a worry. I'm not in a the biggest thing from last night is defensively we look way better. And we changed up some of our mixings out there on the court to go a little longer on the perimeter, on the wings, to make us a little bigger for some of these matchups that we've got coming up. So, look, we're playing in the Legacy Arena. You and I live there for a week every year. It's a great venue. It's going to be orange and blue like crazy in that venue coming up. And so Houston's one of those programs that you've got to be physical. You got to be willing to rebound the basketball. And when shots go up, you're going to box out and all the basic things that come along with basketball. But I think Houston exposes you even more if you have difficulty. So it's a great matchup for Auburn. And, man, our athleticism's outstanding, Brett. Keyshawn Hall's not normal. I mean, enjoy it while you got it. This guy is a walking, talking bucket. And the way that he gets to the free throw line, I think going into that ball game last night, he had more free throw attempts than anybody in the country. That's not going to end. And not only that, I think
and the crazy thing is he only got to the line 3 times last night. So.
Well, he went off in the early going, and then he kind of started letting everybody else's game get going. You had that feel that if he wanted to score 45 last night, he could have. Because he had 13 in about a 3 or 4 minute stretch.
Yeah, I think he was 5 for 5 early. I mean, then he ended up 7 of 10. Everybody knows Keyshawn Hall is the straw that stirs the drink on this team. You didn't have him on this team, you would be concerned, no question.
But defensively, I thought we were really good last night. I thought our perimeter defense is getting better. Yeah. We only give up 20 points there in the first half. I think it was 40-22 at half. So, and I know it's not a great basketball team, but that has always been.
Hey, we went to overtime with Bethune-Cookman last week. So look again. Hey, it's definitely an improvement. Right. So the team's going to get better. Hey, look, this is more of I think maybe more of a top-heavy SEC this year. I know Auburn's got several games before the SEC. Obviously, Houston, Purdue, Michigan, Oregon, Arizona, those teams they got to play before. But this is more of a top-heavy conference this year. So, you're just going to have to look at it, and can Auburn be in that top echelon of this conference? I think they can. And
I do too.
And so, I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday to see kind of a barometer of where, this program is under Stephen Pearl. And look, if you lose it, it ain't the end of the world. You just want to go in there and compete, and you're going to have plenty of other opportunities before SEC play gets started. You open up with Georgia in SEC play, so it's a good one to open up with, and they're better. But, again, you expect to win those games. That's just kind of how it works. All right, a couple more of our partners, and then we got to get out. Got a really busy day today, and we appreciate everybody so very much. Russell Medical Center voted one of the top 3 hospitals in the state of Alabama. They are part of the UAB Healthcare Network, and if you're looking for great healthcare, clean facilities, great doctors, don't want to fight the big town, the big city, Russell Medical Center is the place for you. You need to check them out. They're in Alexander City, right there off Highway 280. Again, connected with UAB Health. I'm not sure there's a better healthcare network in the entire world. I mean, I can personally attest with our family and the things UAB Health does. So check out Russell Medical Center there. Just great people. Oliver Ross, a full bartending service, licensed and trained. They come to your place. You got holidays coming up, all the different events. You need to book them. They show up. You tell them what you want. They have it all set up. They serve it. They break it down, and they leave. And then you look like the shining star of the party. So make sure you call on Oliver Ross. They'll come in and take care of you. And then finally, Old Number One Customs, 334-752-6162. They did a phenomenal job on my bathroom, and I can't say enough about them. I mean, go check them out. Their work online. Instagram, Facebook. Go look at the video on my Facebook and Instagram. They do a tremendous job. So go check them out for your next renovation project. Call on Old Number One Customs. All right, guys, a lot that we covered there in about 35 minutes, but we appreciate all of you so very much that tune us in each and every day. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you need to do that. We'd appreciate it so very much, and a lot of you continue to do that, continue to help us out by hitting the like button. That does help us out each and every day. Again, all of you that follow us on Facebook out there, we appreciate you guys too. A lot of you watch us out there on Facebook, and we greatly appreciate that. Randy, anything else before we go?
No, that's it's a beautiful time to be a sports fan. I'll tell you that. My head's around getting out here to this computer, Brett, and the HSA is in full swing. Second round of the playoffs, they're a better week than the second, third round of the playoff. I mean, I know you hope you make the finals, Brett, but man, when you get to the second or third round, the matchups always through the roof. We've got a big one in Ellick City this Friday night that we're excited about with Ben Russell taking on Theodore, but there's a lot of them going on around the state. So you're out covering who today?
We're going to Plainview today. So Plainview's got, I mean, they're tremendous. They're playing, good Lord of mercy. It's the team starts with an A, man. They're both tremendous teams. I think there's one loss between both of them. And it's not Andalusia. I have Andalusia.
Addison or Ayrton or something.
No. It's crap.
It's not going to come to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you putting me on the spot there. But anyway, I'll have plenty of time to get my notes back together before we get up there. Hey, Faith's interviewing them. I ain't got this. She's got that. I don't know what I'm talking. I'll handle the community college.
That's a heck of a high school community, isn't it? I mean, what a basketball program they have, girls and boys.
Yep.
Football program with the Pruitts, I believe, coaching them for a long time.
That's right. Yep.
Jeremy Pruitt's father's still coaching there. He's back there, isn't he?
Yes,
right
he
now?
is. Yes.
Okay, so that's who y'all catch up with today. And
yep.
I bet they've got great facilities, and some of these smaller schools like that have facilities that match even the large ones.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing about, and then of course we'll go to Northeast Alabama Community College, and that's one of the few I haven't been to in my whole career.
Yeah.
And saw Dean Myrick last night at the basketball game. He said, just look at their softball field. He said, tell me what you think. So I'm excited to see that. So we got a long trek ahead of us. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off so we can get on the road. But we appreciate all of you out there every single day for tuning us in, all your comments, and we'll catch you tomorrow for more of the Auburn Blitz.